Hey guys, it's me Saran, back with another car video. So a lot of you guys have been asking me about Black Panther. I don't want to review Black Panther. I really don't want to review Black Panther. So I have a lot of reasons why I don't really want to review Black Panther. So if you guys saw my Mouse is Evil car video, I talk a lot about like how I'm really like over Disney as this like, you know, corporate fucking monopoly. But that doesn't really have anything to do with Black Panther. I mean, like it does, obviously, but that has nothing to do with like the plot of Black Panther and stuff like that. But like Black Panther is like really getting like the Marvel Disney treatment, which is, I mean, like, which I know people think is like cool, you know, like it's a mainstream blockbuster. It's getting that like mainstream blockbuster treatment in terms of like the marketing and like, you know, the branding. They obviously are working very closely with Lexus, because like the Lexus fucking commercials and shit are everywhere, and you know, they're on the covers of all the billboards and the magazines and stuff. And I mean, like, that's cool, whatever. But I like hate like the capitalist shit. So something about that I find to be kind of distasteful. I find it a little bit distasteful the way that like they dressed Michael B. Jordan up like a fucking Black Panther and like put him on the cover of GQ. I found it kind of distasteful the way that Ava DuVernay tweeted out fucking the covers, the GQ cover and I think the Rolling Stone cover. They put like Chadwick Boseman on the cover of Rolling Stone, and like on the inside he had like a crown of thorns, which is so funny because it made me think of Kanye when they put Kanye on the cover of the Rolling Stone with the crown of thorns, and everybody was like, Kanye is such an egomaniac, like you don't dress up like Jesus and like all this stuff. Like when Ava had like tweeted that out with like the lift every voice and sing lyrics, I was like, okay, like we're doing a bit much now. Like we're equating these niggas with like Jesus and like actual real Black Panthers and like Martin Luther King and like, you know, the rise of the civil rights era. Like, don't get me wrong, there is super cultural significance within this movie. Super cultural significance. I think it's like very important. But people are going a bit overboard. But that's just my opinion. Like that, like I started off saying, well, I don't want to make this video, like why I don't want to make a review video, because like I don't begrudge people their happiness. Like people are happy and fucking excited about this movie. Ooh, the sun, sorry guys. People are like happy and excited about this movie, and that's fine. Like anything that brings Black people joy, I feel like Black joy is a revolutionary act. Like I made a whole fucking video on that. So like anything that like brings people joy, I don't like begrudge anybody their happiness. That's just how I personally feel about it. Like niggas is doing a lot, but like I said, none of that's actually related to the movie or the plot of the movie. That's kind of like outside of the control of, like, the way that people react to the movie and shit like that is like outside of the control, the control of like the cast and stuff like that. I saw Black Panther. I actually saw it for free. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have seen it right away. I would have like waited. And I also had some issues with the plot. You know, we're just gonna get into the plot, so if you haven't seen it, I guess if I do post this video, I will put spoilers in the fucking title, because we better get into this plot. So spoilers, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, fucking spoiler alert. I have some issues with the plot. So Michael B. Jordan is like, he's not really a villain, but he's like the foil to fucking Chadwick Boseman's fucking T'Challa. And it turns out that like they're cousins, you know, like they kissing cousins basically. Michael B. Jordan is like a Black American. He's depicted as like a Black American to like T'Challa is like Wakandan. Wakanda is obviously like a fictional country in Africa, you know, Prince or whatever, and he's kind of like the main antagonist, you know, the anti-hero, the quote-unquote villain. And Ryan Coogler is, you can tell he's kind of like attempting to address kind of the rift within the diaspora between like Black Americans and like continental Africans, but I mean, and he's a filmmaker. It's his film. It's his art. He can take whatever stance he wants. I feel like he has a biased stance in favor of continental Africans. I feel like the plot was basically like, you know, look at these poor, lost, uncultured Black Americans. Sterling Brown, who's amazing, who recently he won that Emmy like last year or the year before for fucking O.J. Simpson. He's amazing. He plays Michael B. Jordan's father, who's like Wakandan, who's like put on like a secret like spy mission in like Oakland, and he starts to like feel for the Black Americans there, and you know, he's like, listen, like we abandoned them basically, you know, like we have like all this power, this technology, we have vibranium, you know, we have all this stuff that we could like help these people. We could help these people that look like us. And basically his brother, who is T'Challa's father, is like, well, you know, we have this isolationist policy, you know, like we can't let anybody know about Wakanda, like we just stick to ourselves, like we can't fucking help these people. And they end up abandoning, you know, Michael B. Jordan to motherfucking raise himself in Oakland, you know. And he grows up very angry and very bitter and very hateful, and basically like, you know what, fuck Wakanda, like fuck this. And he's cast as like the villain, which I don't really like, because I don't really feel like fucking Killmonger. I don't really feel like Killmonger did anything wrong. I mean like there's some shit that he does wrong within like the context of the movie, but I don't really feel like his mindset was wrong. And even like they even show like him having a conversation with his father where he says like, you know, oh, you said you would like take me back and you never did. And he's like, I wish I would love to take you back. I wanted to, but I also know at the same time that I can't even take you back because they're gonna call you lost, you know. So Ryan Coogler is trying to address like the whole concept of like continental Africans thinking that Black Americans are lost, that we don't have a home, that we don't belong anywhere. But it falls heavily in favor of, you know, Black Americans need to like go home, quote unquote, type of thing. And Chadwick Boseman has also been giving interviews where he talks a lot about how like African Americans want to like connect, like reconnect, and this, that, and the third. You guys know how I feel about this. Like, I don't have nothing against like Africa or like anything like that, but like I have no desire to like reconnect with like Africa. Like I have no desire to like DNA test to find out like where I'm from in Africa. I mean, I don't really like the idea of DNA testing anyway, because I feel like they keep your DNA. Like I've seen the fucking, what was it, The Sixth Day with like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like where they fucking clone him. I'm already not with like the DNA testing shit. But it's like for people that, again, I don't want to begrudge anybody their happiness. So for people that do want to like reconnect and like, because I know people are like really into that, like DNA testing and like finding out their roots and like finding out where they're like from in Africa and like all that stuff. Like that's cool. Like obviously I can't tell anybody like what to do. I can only speak for myself. And if that's something that you're looking for, and if that's something that like resonates with you in terms of this movie, which I feel like it is resonating for a lot of people, like that's cool, like, you know, like whatever, that's dope, like I can't take that away from you. But for me personally, that's not how I feel, and I kind of resent that plot point. And it's a major fucking plot point, and it's just like all this chit chat about and it's like a weird like dichotomy where like on the one hand like Black Americans are like lost, considered to be lost, and we should like want to go home, quote unquote home or whatever. But on the other hand, like as even mentioned in Black Panther, he's like, you know, I would love to take you back, but I can't because they're gonna view you as an outsider, you know. So it's like on the one hand it's like, oh, y'all fucking niggas, y'all Black Americans ain't shit, like y'all are fucking lost children out in the world. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, there are some Black Americans that are trying to go back, and when they fucking try to go back, like y'all call them outsiders, you know, like we can't win for losing type shit. Ryan Coogler's, you know, kind of solution to this in the movie is to like have Wakanda basically at the end like kind of open up their borders and like form also outreach programs like in the United States. So his you know, allegorical solution, which again is obviously an allegory. It's a metaphor for clearly what he thinks should be done in real life is, you know, for Africa to kind of open up to us so that we can all kind of like work together type shit. And I feel like that's biased. I feel like it's operating under the premise that like we should want to go there and that we should consider that to be our home. I mean, and like, sure, like Africa's our home in the sense. I was talking about this with somebody and they were like, well, but before like we were here in America, like before we were like kidnapped, like we were in Africa. And I'm like, well, I mean, fucking Africa is the cradle of life. Like all human civilization was in Africa at one point, you know, but like I don't feel like, me personally, I can only speak for myself. Like, I don't feel like we belong there anymore. Like, I don't feel like I belong there. Like, that's not my home. Like, I mean, like, America sucks. Like, we live in a shithole country. People keep talking about this shithole countries comments. And I'm like, nigga, we live in a shithole fucking country, bro. Like, America is a goddamn shithole. Bitch, it's our shithole. Like, we built, like, black Americans literally built this country. Like, we built this American economy. Like, we literally built the White House. Like, we literally like built this shit from the fucking ground up. Like, we predated even the Revolutionary War. Like, we built this motherfucker. And again, like, even the whole way that America became like a superpower so fast was because they had fucking half a millennia, 500 years of free labor, of just like labor getting like put to like build up the economy and like build up all this shit, and they didn't have to like put anything back, you know, like, and they've been searching for a replacement for that free labor ever since, and they finally hit upon automation. But like, that's a different fucking video and a different story. But it's like, I don't feel like I should have to go. Like, I don't feel like I should have to go. I don't feel like I should have to go. Anybody that does feel like they should go or they want to go, that's fine. But like, I don't feel that way. And like I said, I kind of resent the implication that I should leave. I resent it if a white person says it to me. I resent it if Ryan Coogler says it to me. Like, I don't have to fucking go anywhere. I'm not lost. Like, bitch, I'm found. Like, you know, I know exactly who and what I am, and I stand very strong and proud in that. And anybody that's familiar with my videos or you know my ideas and you know things that I say and think, you guys know that about me. Like, I know exactly who I am. Like, I am a descendant of American chattel slavery. Like, and for me, that's who I am. I'm very proud of it. I have a whole video on fucking, you know, the fact that I'm even here right now is literally magic. Like, it's a fucking miracle. Like, I shouldn't even be here. Like, there were so many opportunities for like me to be dead, like me personally, or just for like my whole lineage, like my whole line to have died out. Like, my ancestors like survived the Middle Passage where like millions of people, fucking literally millions of people died. Like, that was a genocide. Like, my ancestors fucking survived that. They fucking survived the auction block. They fucking survived the plantation where people were literally like worked to death, like worked to the bone, where their bones like popped out of their skin. Like, they survived the Civil War, which like remains like the deadliest, bloodiest war on American soil. They survived Reconstruction. They survived Jim Crow. They survived segregation. They survived the fucking crack epidemic. And I grew up in Washington, D.C., where that shit was like really bad. You know, like, they survived the war on drugs. They survived mass incarceration. Like, there's like, this whole society is literally designed for us Black Americans specifically to like be dead. Like, period. So the fact that I'm even like here right now riding in this car like talking to y'all is fucking amazing. And I'm not gonna like, not to say that anybody's like trying to like spit on the grave of like enslaved fucking Black Americans, but like, I'm not gonna like spit on their graves. And I feel like there's a lot of like motherfucking accidental or like unintentional like grave spitting. Like, yeah, well, I'm not a descendant of slaves, like blah blah blah, like shame. And I've talked about this before too. Black Americans are supposed to feel all this shame about it, you know. I don't feel ashamed. If anybody should feel ashamed, it should be motherfucking white people. Like, but we supposed to like feel all this shame, and we supposed to feel like we have to like go back to Africa to like have some type of fucking value. And a lot of it goes back to like seeing Black Americans as the bottom of the totem pole, saying we don't have culture, again saying we're lost, we don't have a home, and we have to like get in bed with Africa. And I know a lot of people really feel that way, and like that's fine, like everyone's entitled to their opinion on it, but just I don't feel that way. And again, I low-key find it to be just a little bit offensive. I don't know. And I don't like that they made fucking, I'm gonna really spoil. Really, please don't watch this if you haven't seen this movie. Like, they killed fucking Michael B. Jordan at the end, which I didn't like. In a post-credit scene, post-credit scene, we see Bucky Barnes like healing and being healed in fucking Wakanda, which I didn't like. It's like, so Bucky Barnes can have a fucking redemption arc, because this is fiction. Because I see people that are like, well, no, didn't you hear what he said? Like, he had to die, like he wanted to die. I'm like, okay, but this is fiction. Like, these people are not real. Like, those are lines that someone wrote. Like, this is a plot point that someone wrote. Like, PSA, fiction isn't real. Have a video on that. I'm talking about like in the larger context of the fact that somebody wrote this. Ryan Coogler wrote this. Like, he could have written a redemption arc if he really wanted to, because it's fucking fiction. These aren't real people or real places or real things. So I kind of felt some type of way that Michael B. Jordan died instead of getting some type of redemption arc, because I don't think he was wrong. I don't think he had the wrong idea. Like, basically, he was like, you know, y'all have all this here, and instead of helping people that look like you, you keep it to yourselves. And not only do you keep it to yourselves, you actively tell other Black people that they can't even come here because they're outsiders, they're lost. So matter of fact, fuck Wakanda, fuck your little purple flower, fuck your little Black Panther, I'm burning all this shit down. I didn't have no problem with that. I was like, hey, I mean, y'all abandoned a child in Oakland to become like an orphan to like raise himself. Why am I supposed, like, he came, he fucking challenged T'Challa in the right way. They did the little ceremonial fight. He beat T'Challa fair and square. Because, you know, in some movies, like in The Lion King, you know, like Scar cheated. He, like, threw the shit in fucking Simba's face and shit like that, you know? Like, throwing, like, no. Like, he beat T'Challa fair and fucking square. But, like, we really supposed to, like, I don't think we're supposed to, like, view Killmonger as, like, a villain per se. But, you know, we supposed to see him in a certain light. We were talking about it on Twitter, and somebody was like, you know, they think of T'Challa as like the Martin Luther King, like the we need to come together, and they view Malcolm X as like, and they view Killmonger as like the Malcolm X, like the more, and y'all know, like, I'm a separatist, like I'm not with the come together and sing kumbaya shit, and they view Killmonger as like the more Malcolm X. And in our historical context, especially, or even like our contemporary context, you know, the MLK is kind of viewed as like the quote-unquote right way, and the Malcolm X way is kind of viewed as like the quote-unquote wrong way. Not just like that the two are different. And I kind of feel like, again, this movie is a little bit biased in that it also takes that stance of like the MLK way, or like the T'Challa, way of let's come together and build bridges is like the right way, and the Killmonger way is like the wrong way. But sometimes it's just fucking too little too late. Like, y'all had to like fucking kill Michael B. Jordan. Y'all had to like kill Killmonger and like have him come and like fuck shit up for y'all to like realize like, oh, maybe we should fucking not be fucking assholes to like Black Americans. But it's like, bitch, too little too late at this point. Like, I don't know. And aside from like the movie itself, I even feel like we're seeing this like this rift, you know, this dichotomy play out in like the reception and like the reactions. There's been all these conversations around like, oh, is this movie for Black Americans? Which I felt in the time leading up to this movie, like, okay, Black Panther's gonna be like a cute movie, but this movie is not for me. Like, I don't really think I'm like the target demographic for this movie. Like, the target demographic for this movie is like continental Africans, like foreign born Blacks, and Black Americans that feel like they want to go back home to Africa. If you do not fall in that category, I kind of feel like this movie is not for you, because like those are like the major fucking plot points of the movie. Like, is it awesome to see like representation, dark-skinned woman representation, an entirely Black cast like leading a blockbuster? Sure. But at the same time, yet again, you have like all these conversations that's like, oh now like everybody wants to be from Africa, like now niggas want to be from fucking Wakanda, now y'all want to like wear, which we've talked about in this channel before, like now y'all want to fucking wear the makeup and wear the dress, like oh but like way back in the day y'all was calling us African booty scratchers, because that's what niggas always want to complain about. You was calling us African booty scratchers. Like, yeah, well, you called us fucking crackheads and welfare babies. Like, it's fucking perfectly fine. You can fucking keep it. You can keep it. Like, that's really how I feel. Like, you can fucking keep Wakanda. Like, you can have it. Like, I don't even want it. Like, I don't even relate to that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, it's like Black Americans can't win for losing. It's like, y'all think we lost, but then when people get fucking excited about this movie, or like excited about like, you know, dressing up and cosplaying, y'all don't want Black Americans to do that either. So it's just like, you got it. Y'all seen that fucking gif of the guy that's like that's how I feel. Like, y'all got it. Like, y'all got it. Like, it's for y'all. Like, it's a lovely depiction of a fictional African country. It's a lovely depiction of like African royalty that we probably haven't seen since like Eddie Murphy's like coming to America. That's great. I'm proud of fucking who I am. Y'all should be proud of who y'all are. And y'all can have that, you know, all this conversation around like, you know, oh, this is just like, you see, like, this is the way that like a superhero movie should be. I feel like there's something very unsavory about the respectability politics of people that like ignore Black American fucking films and cinema. Like, people ignore Black American films because like they don't want to see it. Like, they don't respect us. They don't respect our culture. They don't fucking feel like, they don't know shit about us or our culture or our movies. I saw all these people talking about this is the first ever Black superhero movie, which is not true. This is the first ever, you know, Black superhero movie featuring a all Black cast, which is not true. This is the first ever Black superhero movie with a dark-skinned woman lead, which is not true, bitch. And Boucher Wright and Blade, please go watch it if you haven't motherfucking seen it. You know, just like this discounting of, and I feel like that was like a huge part of the plot, like this like discounting of like Black Americans and Black American culture, and then again like claiming Black Panther as like, this is the African culture, this belongs to us, not y'all. So fine, y'all can have it, you know. But again, that's just how I feel. Anybody that saw the movie and didn't feel the way I felt, like, again, I don't want to begrudge anybody their happiness, and this is really why I don't want to fucking make a review video on it, because like, that was how I felt watching it. Like I said, like, I didn't feel fucking happy and empowered. Like, I felt very resentful. And I felt like there was something really unsavory about the plot. Like, if y'all want to get into like, oh, the writing was great and it was really nice and funny, and like the action sequences were dope, and like the special effects were really good, and the hair and the makeup and the costumes were amazing. Like, the costumer is a Black woman. I believe like the hair and makeup artists were Black. You know, like all the creatives behind the camera were Black, in front of the camera were Black, which is great, awesome. Like, I love that. Like, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I felt about it. I mean, I guess if you guys like really want like an in-depth fucking review, I would probably have to see it again and then like do that. But I don't really want to. And again, like, I don't want to like subjugate anybody's happiness or like invert it or begrudge it, because people are feeling happy and connected to this movie, and I really do think that that's cool, you know. I'm just not with it. And I, again, like, somebody said to me on Twitter, somebody was like, I don't like the way that this movie, which this person was like, which I did love, but I don't like the way I feel like this movie is being weaponized against Black Americans as some type of like, you see, like, this is the way that shit should be. And like, even a lot of the dialogue that was written for Michael B. Jordan was a bit like over the top. Now, I don't love Michael B. Jordan's acting. I think he like overacts a lot, and even like a lot of his dialogue was very much like typical, like, you see how these Black Americans, they don't know how to act, they don't have no fucking act right, like uncouth, disrespectful, which fine, like, bitch, I be disrespectful then, like, I be uncouth, like, you can fucking have your Africa shit, and I will stay here in America and be a fucking disrespectful, uncouth American. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't fucking have an issue with that, because I'm not into respectability politics, and that shit's not gonna hurt my fucking feelings. You know? I don't know. I didn't love it. And I didn't really feel empowered or feel shit watching it. But like I said, that's just me. I don't know, guys. and this is not really a review or anything. So I guess, like I said, if y'all really, really want a review, I could like do a real review. I will also be doing a write-up on this movie for Riot Material, because I think that kind of like what I've been talking about in this video, like I just been spitballing obviously as I'm driving. There's a lot of complex issues which I prefer to like write about, because that like helps me sort through the issues a little bit better. But yeah, if you guys like really, really, really want a review, like I could see it again and like do a review for you guys, good, the bad, and the ugly format. But I don't know, I mean, y'all might just watch this video and be like, okay, that's enough. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you guys really want a review, good, the bad, and the ugly format, because like I could do it. So yeah, car video. Bye.